Good afternoon. Today we'll be talking about the engineering requirements or specification list. This step of the project proposal analysis typically comes after you have identified your customer needs. This is because in this step we will be taking those needs and translating them into a set of design requirements that we will attempt to meet as we create our product. Now, there are different ways of displaying a requirements list, but in this video we will focus on an example of a requirements list my team made for a 3D food design project. As you can see, we listed the customer needs in the third column. For the 3D printer, our potential users requested that the device fit on a countertop, be easy to store, easy to carry, and so on. Notice that all of these needs are stated positively, as if we had already achieved them. This helps to put focus on the goal rather than the obstacle. Additionally, notice that we broke up the needs into different categories according to what aspect of the device they will affect: geometry, kinematics, and so on. This will help to give the list structure and might identify important requirement categories you are missing. You can use a list such as this to check for that. Once we have listed our needs, we can start thinking of how to measure them, or in other words, create metrics. For example, a good measure of whether a user is safe from burns is the temperatures of exposed surfaces. In general, a good metric should be quantifiable. In other words, it should be a number you can measure, such as volume or temperature. User survey scoring, such as how pretty is this on a scale of 1 to 10, should be avoided if possible. However, it will be necessary for subjective needs, such as whether the 3D printed food tastes good. There's no way to physically measure that. Additionally, a good metric should be practical to measure. Since you'll likely be looking at similar products to yours, you want to be able to compare them to your product based on the same metric, so it needs to be measurable on both. Once we have determined our metrics, next we need to establish our target values. What are we aiming for? The target can take on a variety of different forms. For example, it could be a specific value, it can be a list of specific values, it can be a range, or it can be a threshold. A good example from our requirements list is the surface temperature, which we set at a threshold less than or equal to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This value is in accordance with the American Society of Testing and Materials, who report that the average person can touch a 140 degree Fahrenheit surface for up to 5 seconds without irreversible burn damage. Whenever possible, it is good to set target values according to accepted standards, especially where safety is concerned. If you're not sure about your target value, a good tip is to put the best estimate and put the value in brackets, indicating somewhere that it is only an estimate. The final column is verification. This is where you state how or on what you plan to make these measurements. Are you performing experiments on a prototype, checking the design drawing, making calculations, etc. Lastly, in case you were wondering, the date on the first column indicates the last time the corresponding row was updated. The demand/wish column allows you to categorize your requirements as either necessary or a wish. And that's the end of the video. I wish you the best of luck.